The early 2000s internet thrived on one core value: being as edgy and offensive as possible. Games like Whack Your Boss let you dispatch your employer in escalatingly brutal fashions. Happy Wheels encouraged sending a homeless war veteran into horrific crimson-soaked deaths, and Albino Black Sheep's most famous animation was this. This is the landscape that Joe Cartoon was birthed from. In fact, Joe Cartoon was the first ever offensive Flash animator, creating cartoons that showcase shocking amounts of violence, brutal animal treatment, and a deep sadistic enjoyment of pain. There was nothing off limits to Joe Cartoon.
I can't feel my legs. I've got no feeling in my legs.
The main mission of every JC cartoon was this: upset as many people as possible. Flash was a booming industry in the early 2000s, with many animators, both professional and amateur, putting up their work for the world to see. This gold rush to fame created an oversaturation of tunes, many of which were terrible in both production value and quality. Your cartoon would get lost in the mix with thousands of others, never to be seen. So, how would you, as an animator, get eyes on your work? By shocking the hell out of people. Joe's main claim to fame was his gerbil cartoons, the site's mascot. They would feature a wisecracking gerbil placed in various dangerous situations, with said gerbil attempting to anger the viewer as much as possible. Him being in a microwave is what most people associate with Joe Cartoon's work, and your job is to silence this pesky creature with increasing levels of power.
I'm gonna do something to you. Something bad.
He'll berate you and egg you on more and more until finally...
Pinhead. Yeehaw! Life goes on, baby. Give it up for DNA. Come on, give it up.
These were called clickamajigs, and they were the best part of this era. Cartoons that let you press buttons and watch the resulting chaos. Joe wasn't the only one to do these, as Nickelodeon's own website had tons of these as well, as did T-Bone, Joe's closest contemporary. While Nick.com's clickamajigs were lighthearted and family-friendly, with activities like being a barber or trying to wake up a sleeping man, Joe's were decidedly darker. A mentally challenged man beating himself in the head with a baseball bat.
I had a gerbil when I was a little boy. It had babies, and then it ate all their heads off.
Dragging a dog by its neck and watching the ensuing carnage. And beating Osama bin Laden to death with your bare hands.
You think you're pretty tough, don't you? Tough guy. Oh!
The more options you had in these, the better, and my personal favorite was the boss. Anyone who's ever worked retail knows what a pain in the neck it can be for your boss to be hovering around you at all times, and this game served as a wonderful stress reliever.
Okay then, you're fired. Yeah, clean out your desk. Give me a letter of resignation. See if you can spell your fucking name right. You overpaid piece of shit.
Especially when the paper plane comes out.
You killed him, murderer. I hope you're happy.
People passed these tunes around like gangbusters, filling every email forward with Joe's cartoons and making him the biggest Flash animator of that era. It was impossible to go to any major Flash site and not see his work. The man was prolific. Now, I love animals, especially dogs, so you would think seeing cute creatures smashed to bits and demolished in these tunes would be hard to watch. Absolutely not the case. Joe's approach to all these things is so over the top and ridiculous, you can't take it seriously. He's able to show some of the sickest things imaginable, and because of the stupid, utterly immature sense of humor, your brain just shuts off. The art style contributes to this a lot, as many of the animals here are ultra expressive, but also quite clueless as they meet their eventual end. It's vulgar, for sure, but you just keep watching.
If you were a guy that just lost his pecker, would you want to live? Push the die button, you fucking moron.
Now, as much as creature violence was a staple of the show, the redneck hillbilly vibe was quite strong as well. Many of Joe's cartoons featured dim-witted and aggressive humans who would be quick to violence and even quicker to their deaths. Said humans would always antagonize you and encourage you to do horrible, horrible things to them, like beating up not Miss Doubtfire's massive melons as she cheers you on.
That's it for this week's show. So until next time, remember this.
Look at My Monkey is a classic and perfect entry for all of Joe's work. A very horny man spanks a monkey with increasing rage and enthusiasm as he narrates his experience.
Ooh, nice. You like that, monkey?
It displays the strongest elements of JC, the dumbest goddamn humor on the planet, and primal silliness.
I know what you're thinking. You want to see this man's testicles?
Joe's best series was Superfly Adventures, a smarmy Mexican fly who would constantly get high, get wasted, and talk trash to all the hillbillies. He was simultaneously an insane murderer and the chillest dude ever. Like, I would love to hang out with Superfly and crack some 40s with that guy.
Dude, check it out! What's up? It's God, man! Dude, God got serious red eye, man. Visine, man. Give him some Visine.
The absolute stupidity of these tunes is what makes them so great. Had there been even a molecule of social commentary or thought-provoking discussion in them, they would have immediately been ruined. The sheer joy of watching JC comes from seeing how depraved it's going to get. What ground will he break now? Which sick taboo will he indulge in next? And most importantly, how much hemoglobin will stain the screen. Joe Cartoon is not a smart show. It's not a clever show. It's not witty, and its appeal to the absolute lowest common denominator is apparent on the very first watch. But man, is it fun. If you honestly watch JC's work to glean any sort of deep insight into the human condition, you are a moron. It's here to distract you and give you a raw dopamine hit that can only be reached by tickling that part of your brain you thought was long gone. It may not be intelligent, but it is a brilliant, creative work of genius, and it serves its role well. And nobody sums up Joe's work better than himself.
Monkey.